Thanks and welcome. I'm Kejang Henry at Timbe for the 6:15. Let's flag off with our headlines. Just 72 hours to go for schools to resume for the 2025-2026 academic year. Parents in Yabasi in the Nkam division of the Littoral region are facing tough times as books are absent on the shelves. And outreach in Douala after a 7-year-old girl child was found chained in her home or in their home by her aunt. The disturbing discovery has sparked national debates on child abuse with renewed calls for stronger child protection measures. And Cameroon rolls out a new strategy to raise the quality of its cocoa, actually betting on the motivation of its farmers. Top stories. Check us on our respective platforms on Continuity News, on Canal International. This outreach in Douala after a 7-year-old girl child was found chained inside their home by her aunt, and this disturbing discovery has actually sparked national debate on child abuse and, of course, renewed calls for stronger measures to protect child. We have the details with Morindi.
A horrifying case of child abuse has shaken the city of Douala. A 7-year-old girl found bound by heavy iron chains in the very home where she was supposed to be safe. This case, while shocking, is not isolated. Many go unreported due to fear, stigma, or a lack of awareness about children's rights.
I witnessed a similar situation in my neighborhood where a woman would beat her child almost every day. Each time it happened, neighbors would intervene, but they didn't stop. As soon as we heard the child crying, we knew she was around. The child would sometimes cry for up to 3 hours from 10 p.m. to midnight and even as late as 1 a.m.
De 22h à minuit, 1h du matin.
Comme sa soeur était décédée, il allait au deuil à l'enterrement.
There was a neighbor who traveled for the burial of his elder. While he was away, his wife maltreated their child to the extent that I couldn't bear it anymore and had to intervene.
L'enfant ne peut pas mourir devant mes yeux.
School guardian counselors who often work directly with children from troubled homes warn of the long-term impacts such abuse can have.
As a counselor, I will notice this when they exhibit a variety of emotional and behavioral responses such as anxiety, depression, stress, withdrawal, aggression, or maybe difficulty with relationship situations amongst their peers,
Counselors and psychologists are calling for a more proactive and coordinated approach, combining education, community outreach, and stronger enforcement of existing laws to protect children.
We use trauma-informed practices such as creating a safe space and a supportive environment that will build trust, relationship that's with us and these children. It is going to help to promote their emotional regulations and create a sense of safety for them. Trauma is something that could affect you for the rest of your life, and you need to be able to have the right people, the right environment, the right society around you to be able to help you accommodate the circumstances.
Many say it is time for authorities to go beyond rescue operations and build a system that prevents such abuses before they happen.
And the shocking discovery or abuse of the 7-year-old girl child in Douala has reignited national concerns over the protection of minors. Mercy's case is just an isolated one and brutal reminder of the fact that torture in any form is punishable or a punishable crime under national and international law. Morindi met with some experts, and this is what they shared in the report.
The harrowing case of young Mercy, a victim of severe abuse, brings to light the critical issue of torture and its Legal ramifications in Cameroon. Torture in whatever form or nature is condemned by legal provisions, whether national or international. Article 350 of the Cameroonian Penal Code clearly states that any acts of torture committed against a minor under the age of 15 is punishable by life imprisonment. Under Cameroonian law, any act that infringes upon an individual's physical integrity constitutes a criminal offense. Specifically, Section 2773 of the Cameroonian Penal Code defines torture as any act by which acute pain or suffering, whether physical, mental, or psychological, is intentionally inflicted by a public servant, traditional leader, or any other person acting in an official capacity to obtain information, punish, intimidate, or for discriminatory reasons. Penalties range from 2 to 20 years imprisonment depending on the severity of the harm caused. Civil society needs to be more engaged. Every actor in the chain must be involved, from community leaders, quarter heads, traditional rulers, to presidents of association. They all have a role to play in the fight against the maltreatment and torture of minors in our neighborhoods. Victims in distress, they need our collective voices. We must put an end to this. There is a hotline, 160, for Cameroonians to call and report such cases of abuse. Silence is complicity. Denounce it. Cameroon is a signatory to several international conventions that protect minors, including the United Nations Convention on the Rights of the Child. These agreements obligate the state to safeguard children from all forms of physical or mental violence, injury, or abuse. The case of 7-year-old Mercy brings to light the growing phenomenon in our society.
Thanks very much, Maureen T. Pathetic indeed, and residents in Yabassi in the Nkam division of the littoral region are facing mounting challenges due to severely damaged roads, and with the town completely cut off or partially cut off from main town, emergency access is equally very absent. And so the residents are saying that they have no choice but to fend for themselves alternately. Ambo Gladys.
Connecting the administrative center of the town of Yabassi in the Nkam division to its surrounding neighborhoods has become an uphill battle. Roads are either covered in thick mud or almost entirely impassable. Transportation costs have surged, particularly for motorbikes, the only means of transport able to navigate the increasingly treacherous roads.
There is no route linking Banya to the main town in any direction, from the public school to the government technical high school. We are really suffering. A trip that used to cost 150 francs now costs 500 francs, yet passengers still hesitate to pay.
In moments of emergency, residents say the state of the roads puts lives at risk.
Notre cher Yabassi, il est devenu très compliqué.
It's becoming extremely difficult to move around Yabassi because of the poor state of the roads. If someone falls sick in Banya, getting them to the hospital in the center town is nearly impossible. The roads are in such bad shape that even using a motorcycle is a struggle, let alone trekking. It is a serious problem.
En voiture, on s'en sort pas, c'est devenu très compliqué.
Residents say they feel abandoned and forgotten by the authorities. The situation is now drawing urgent pleas from the community.
We have been suffering for years with schools about to reopen. We don't know how the students will get there. All 3 major roads are in terrible condition. We are worried the children will have no choice but to trek long distances.
For the people of Yabassi, the cry is loud and clear. Without urgent intervention, what is now a transportation crisis could become a full-blown humanitarian one.
And with just 72 hours to go for the 2025-2026 academic year, parents in Yabasi are very worried as there is this conspicuous absence of books on the shelves, and they are wondering how the children are going to cope. Once more, Gladys Abungtipa.
With just a few days to the start of the new school year, what should be a moment of preparation and excitement has become a source of stress for many families in Yabasi in the Nkam division. The town, which has no bookstores, leaves parents scrambling to find school supplies, often in vain. The only available option within town limits is a small provision store located at a busy roundabout known locally as Banya, but even here, supplies are limited and customer footfall remains low.
In Yabasi, we don't have bookshops. From the central town to Banya, access is difficult, which is why many parents prefer to buy school books outside this area. The local vendor has only a limited selection, and it is even harder to find textbooks for students in bilingual education.
Faced with limited options, many parents are forced to make the long and costly journey to the city of Douala to buy school items, a trip made even more challenging by the state of the roads and the rising cost of living. It is challenging because I only stock a few essential textbooks like French, mathematics and English, but even then sales are low because most parents prefer to go to Douala to buy school books, even though I sell them at the same prices. Residents say the cost of school preparation has skyrocketed this year, not just due to supply issues, but also due to broader economic challenges. As the school year looms, many parents are left hoping for last-minute solutions and that their children won't be left behind before the first bell even rings.
Thanks indeed, Ambo Gladys Dibang. And the Delegate General of National Security, Martin Barangangele, has sent warning signals to police officers who drag the image of the police corps into mud. He has promised heavy sanctions if they don't refrain from such unprofessional behavior. He was speaking this Friday while graduating some over 200 superintendents and assistant superintendents of police in Yaoundé. Hyacinth Chia with the details.
"96 cadets superintendents and 145 cadets assistant superintendents of police at the end of their 2 years training, happily receiving their diplomas and epaulets from the hands of the Delegate General for National Security, Martin Barangangele, this Friday, September 5th, at the National Advanced Police School in Yaoundé, with a strong message of responsibility dished out to the laureates.
Je vous demande de faire de ce code de déontologie votre livret de chevet, la boussole de vos agissements professionnels et même privés.
Aware of the heavy task ahead, the police officers express readiness to serve the people and the nation.
I want to assure you that the superintendents of police CCN today and assistant superintendents of CCN who are graduated this day are really ready to serve the nation with devotion and loyalty. And I'm prepared to engage all my hard work and efforts to make sure the nation is satisfied.
The dual ceremony also saw the award of medals to some 107 civil servants of the National Security Corps on the ticket of the National Day celebration for hard work.
Et en vertu des pouvoirs qui nous sont conférés, nous vous faisons officier de l'ordre de la valeur.
The badge also has as one of the trainees a Congolese as police superintendent. Martin Barangangele used the opportunity to send warning signals to police officers spoiling the image of the corps, promising them heavy sanctions. He reiterates that peace must reign nationwide, especially during this delicate period of the presidential election.
Thanks very much, Hyacinth. And Cameroon has actually rolled out a new strategy to raise the quality of its cocoa. betting on the motivation of farmers. This is just a means to make sure they produce more and, of course, maintain Cameroon's global ranking in terms of quantity produced. Beatrice Ngamo reports.
Two rural localities, Mboma in the east and Ayos in the central region, have through cocoa and coffee production portrayed their engagement and responsibility to excel. The cocoa and coffee sectors continue to grow both in quantity and in quality. To push yields even further, authorities are placing emphasis on motivating farmers. These incentives are no accident, but part of a deliberate strategy encouraging producers to steadily improve their harvest.
Très très fier parce que le tonnage est vraiment élevé pour moi. Ça m'encourage aussi de bien travailler.
Et je dis aux enfants du courage, faites l'agriculture, la terre ne trompe pas.
Trade Minister encourages the farmers not to relent as they have shown they are the author of their wealth. This, especially as Cameroon cocoa beans are increasingly sought after for their value.
They have received this morning a consistent quality premium. And as you can see, they are happy of that. They are happy of their government. They are happy of the President of the Republic. And I have received a message which I will transmit, of course, is that they want that it continues.
Means for these cultivators to better prepare their children for the 2025-2026 school year and ensure better living together. A strong momentum underway with a clear ambition to also keep Cameroonian cocoa among the most prized in the world.
And a digital comic book that blends the American icon Superman and Cameroonian legend Eva Samoto has been launched in Yaoundé. Superman, the Chariot of the Gods, is a collaboration between DC Comics and the Cameroonian Zebra Comics. Beatrice Ngamo relates.
Studies have shown that many women are yet to embrace and practice healthy living and wellness. This is largely due to lack.
At the heart of the meeting was this shared determination to strengthen the legal arsenals protecting women, particularly in the face of troubling rise in femicides. The lawyers stressed that the absence of specific legislation to prevent and punish such crimes continue to fuel impunity. Thus, the urgent need for laws tailored to address femicide and related abuses meted on young girls and women.
ACAFESH has been to the National Assembly decry the treatment of women and children in certain actions that are being reprimanded by our law. For example, the femicides that we witness every day. You now hear every day a husband has beaten a wife, a husband has cut the wife with the wife is in the hospital. At times they even lost their lives. ACAFESH is fighting with all its energy to make sure that all those that are involved in all those actions are being penalized.
This Cameroonian Association of Female Lawyers have been on sensitization campaigns covering many aspects to better the life of this weak feminine gender, pushing to redress the traditions that sidelined women from land ownership.
ACAFESH is behind the women to make sure that each woman has a piece of land that she can use as collaterals in banks to get money and sponsor their own economic activities, because we all know the problem that women are facing is partly because of their economic, low power.
Giving the woman the opportunity to boost her own activity, gain some respect for herself, is the force and voice she so badly needs.
ACAFESH is on its way to open new representation offices in the other regions, like in the Northwest and the Southwest regions.
The women also urged the minister to fully use her office influence to champion these reforms. The audience occasion also for the new ACAFESH Bureau to formally meet the minister.
For that mix up, fabulous Beatrice Ngamo reporting there on the rights of women, and dread the cuttings for this edition of the 6:15 with me, Kejang Henry at Thimbe. Thanking you for being there with me throughout the week. Wishing you a happy weekend. Matthew Fangwa will be coming up with the brief, the actuality sportive.